modernity is literally cracking, brick by brick, beam by beam. Across the country, homeowners, construction workers, and ordinary citizens are uncovering the horrifying truth behind the nation's decades-long housing and infrastructure boom: cheap materials, falsified safety checks, and a system built on lies. From Tianjin and Zhuhai to Weihai and Changsha, people are waking up to find their newly purchased homes leaking, splitting apart, and in some cases, collapsing entirely. What was once the pride of China's urban expansion has become a nationwide nightmare. In one viral video from Zhuhai, a homeowner wipes a wall with his bare hand, and the cement simply turns to powder, exposing hollow foam blocks and rusted rebar underneath. Another clip from Weihai shows a newly built apartment staircase shaking violently under a man's weight, while the handrails crumble away. "This house is only 2 years old," the man shouts in disbelief. "If you jump once, the floor cracks." In Changsha, a row of newly built residential towers suddenly began tilting last month. Residents noticed cracks running from the foundation up through the walls, and then came the unthinkable. One of the adjacent buildings collapsed overnight. Students from Changsha Medical College living nearby described waking to an earthquake-like rumble and clouds of dust. "I thought it was a bomb," one said. "Then we realized it was the building itself." Such disasters are no longer rare accidents. They've become a symbol of what Chinese citizens call Tofu-Dreg projects. Du-fu-jia-gongcheng. Buildings and infrastructure made to look impressive on the outside, but as fragile as rotten tofu on the inside. An engineer who worked on multiple housing projects in Shandong and Jiangsu admitted anonymously that cost-cutting is routine. Developers stuff walls with plastic bags or styrofoam. They replace steel with cheap rebar. We are told to make it look finished before the inspection team arrives. Everyone knows the system is rotten, but if you don't play along, you lose your job. The same pattern has appeared nationwide. In Tianjin, a luxury apartment complex completed in 2024 is now plagued with leaking ceilings and cracking pillars. Residents who paid over 2 million yuan per unit are demanding refunds, but the developer has since declared bankruptcy. "We saved our whole lives for this," one elderly couple told local reporters. "The walls are hollow, the water leaks every time it rains. We can't even sleep at night. We have nowhere else to go." As these stories multiply, China's real estate market, once the cornerstone of its economic miracle, is collapsing under its own weight. Entire complexes stand unfinished, their skeletal concrete frames covered in weeds and dust. A resident from Henan province posted a video of his neighborhood. 15 towers, each 26 floors tall, yet only one apartment is occupied. The rest are dark, empty shells. "I turn on my light at night," he says, "and I see no other windows glowing. I live in a ghost city." In Guangdong, another man films an abandoned luxury complex surrounded by rusted cranes and stagnant water. "These buildings were sold out 3 years ago," he says, "but the developer ran away. The government says they're working on it. Nothing's moved since 2022. Homeowners across Shandong, Guangxi, and Anhui tell similar stories. Prepaid apartments left unfinished, roofs leaking, elevators missing, pipes rusted through. "It's like living in a ruin," one woman said. "I can hear the walls groaning at night." Behind every crumbling wall lies a shattered life story. A young couple in Changzhou bought a new apartment in 2022 for 1.4 million yuan, financed through a 30-year mortgage. Today, the property's market value has fallen to 300,000 yuan, barely 1/5 of what they owe. "My husband was laid off last year. I lost my job soon after," the wife said through tears. "We tried to sell, but no one would buy even at half price. The bank still demands payment. We don't even have money to move." In other provinces, homeowners face even crueler fates. Some developments were demolished due to safety risks before residents could even move in. Others were seized by banks or local governments after developers defaulted. One viral WeChat post captured the desperation. "We thought we were buying a home. We bought a coffin." Drone footage circulating online reveals the full scale of the devastation. Entire districts in Inner Mongolia and Liaoning show thousands of identical apartment towers, all empty. Streets lined with luxury stores sit in darkness. In Nanning, realtors whisper that hundreds of thousands of unsold units now flood the market, some with rents as low as 500 yuan a month, but still no tenants. "People don't want to move into these places," said a local agent. "They're afraid the walls will collapse, or that their developer will disappear." Many of these ghost towers are surrounded by half-finished malls, abandoned playgrounds, and stagnant pools. A construction worker described it grimly. "We used to joke that China could build 10 cities a year. Now we can't even fill one." Real estate once accounted for 30% of China's GDP and represented the largest store of household wealth. But now, that wealth is disintegrating, physically and financially. According to leaked local government data, average property prices have fallen by 40 to 70% in major cities since 2022. In some smaller counties, the collapse is so severe that homes can't find buyers even when offered for less than the construction cost. "It's not just money," said Professor Liu, an economist from Beijing who asked to remain anonymous. "It's psychological collapse. People worked their whole lives for these homes. When they see them crack, when they lose everything, they lose faith in the system." In March 2025, a 33-story high-rise in Taiyuan suddenly toppled after an earthquake. Investigators later discovered the structure used fake steel supplied by a firm called Evolution Yuan Iron, while the state-owned China Railway No. 10 Engineering Group had cut corners during construction. The image of that fallen skyscraper quickly spread across Chinese social media before being censored. For many citizens, it became the ultimate symbol of China's moral and structural decay, a tower built on lies, falling under its own weight. "It's not the earthquake that killed it," wrote one netizen. "It's corruption." For years, Beijing's slogan of high-quality development has been used to justify massive spending on urbanization and technological advancement. Yet the reality looks more like a house of cards: unsafe buildings, unfinished projects, and a population trapped in debt. A construction foreman from Hubei explained how official corruption fuels the crisis. Every level wants their cut. By the time the money reaches the construction site, 40% is gone. You can only afford the cheapest materials. Everyone knows it. But if you speak out, you disappear. The collapse of these projects is not just an engineering failure. It's a moral one. And as the physical foundations of China crumble, another emblem of national pride, the electric vehicle industry, is showing the same cracks beneath its polished surface. The second half of China's modern collapse plays out not in concrete, but in metal and circuitry. BYD, the country's flagship electric vehicle manufacturer and one of the CCP's technological crown jewels, is now mired in scandals eerily similar to the housing debacle: quality shortcuts, mechanical failures, and corporate arrogance. Once hailed as the pride of China's industrial innovation, BYD is now being mocked as the automotive equivalent of tofu construction. If the buildings collapse on land, one social media user quipped, "BYD cars collapse on the road." In the past, owning a BYD electric car meant owning a piece of China's future. Today, it means risking your life behind the wheel. Across multiple provinces, social media has been flooded with videos of BYD vehicles suddenly catching fire, losing control, or failing to brake. One owner from Guangxi recorded his dashboard just moments before his car burst into flames, less than 2 minutes after parking. There was a burning smell, he said. Then the battery exploded. In Henan, a driver of a brand new BYD Seal sedan watched in horror as his car's chassis split open during a slow turn. The vehicle had been driven only 700 kilometers. The company dismissed the incident as isolated mechanical stress. "They always blame the customer," said another victim. "If your house collapses, they say you built it wrong. If your car burns, they say you drove it wrong." BYD's slogan, "Build Your Dreams," has become a bitter punchline online. Once praised by state media as proof that China could outpace Tesla, BYD now faces allegations of mass falsification in crash tests, battery defects, and fake quality reports. Leaked documents from an internal supplier show that BYD's cost-cutting measures have pushed parts quality below global minimums. Components originally sourced from Japan and Korea were replaced by cheaper domestic alternatives, many without proper certification. A mechanic from Shenzhen, where BYD's main factories are located, described the new normal. "They cut corners on screws, on battery seals, on brake pads. We've seen cars that start corroding after 3 months. It's like the tofu buildings all over again, just with wheels." The consequences have been deadly. Local reports counted at least 37 spontaneous fire incidents involving BYD vehicles since mid-2024, many in parking lots or during charging. Videos of these fiery wrecks are quickly deleted, but citizens keep re-uploading them faster than sensors can react. For Beijing, BYD is not just a car company. It's a national symbol, one meant to showcase the triumph of Chinese innovation. But when the symbol begins to crumble, so does the narrative. Every viral explosion, every photo of a melted EV battery is an embarrassment not only for BYD, but for the entire state-controlled ecosystem that values speed over safety, image over integrity. "The party told us to innovate," one former engineer said. But what they meant was, make it look innovative. As long as the photos look good, nobody checks what's inside. The irony is devastating. Just like China's luxury apartments that collapse under their own weight, BYD's cars embody the same sickness. A culture of performance without substance, fueled by propaganda and fear of accountability. In both the housing and automotive industries, the same pattern emerges. Fake safety certifications, suppressed whistleblowers, government-linked firms above the law. When a bridge collapses, the news is censored. When a BYD battery explodes, the video is deleted. When hundreds of homeowners protest outside local offices, riot police arrive before journalists do. Inside the system, engineers, builders, and inspectors are forced to sign off on fake documents to meet party targets. If they resist, they are replaced, or worse, investigated. "We are told the people's happiness depends on stability," said a former quality inspector from Guangzhou. But what kind of stability is built on lies? Across China, the signs of decay are no longer confined to isolated accidents. They're everywhere. Abandoned apartment towers, rusting cranes frozen mid-construction, burnt BYD shells sitting in scrapyards, empty malls filled with echoing announcements about new opportunities. Citizens are starting to draw the connection. The collapse of quality is not a technical failure. It's the inevitable result of corruption. And when everything around you is crumbling, from your home to your car to your country's moral foundation, there's nowhere left to stand. In the southern manufacturing hub of Shenzhen, where BYD's headquarters loom over silent industrial zones, a food delivery rider summed up the mood of the city. "They said we'd build our dreams here, but now even the buildings are falling and the cars explode. What dream is left to build?" His voice cracks, his face hidden behind a helmet streaked with sweat and dust. Every day I see people leaving. They pack up, they go. I wish I could too. This isn't just the story of economic decline. It's the story of a generation losing faith. In recent months, Chinese social media platforms have quietly updated their moderation lists. Phrases like tofu construction, BYD explosion, and ghost apartments are now automatically censored. Even sharing local news clips about crumbling walls or burning cars can result in account suspension. The silence is deafening. But behind that silence, the videos keep coming, recorded secretly, shared through private groups, mirrored on overseas platforms. They can delete posts, one netizen wrote, but they can't delete reality. The phrase, "build your dreams," once stood for ambition. Today, it sounds like a curse. Whether in the form of a cracked wall or a burnt-out battery, the truth is the same. China's foundations, both literal and ideological, are rotting from within. What began as an economic miracle has become an open wound, and for millions of Chinese citizens, homeless, indebted, or disillusioned, the dream is not only broken, it's buried beneath the rubble. In a country that once promised to build the future, even the walls can't hold, and even the cars can't move. The dream that was supposed to lift 1 billion people has become a mirage built on sand. And as the dust settles over empty cities and burnt vehicles, one truth remains. When a nation builds on lies, collapse is not an accident, it's destiny.